Hello guys, welcome to our awesome video today. Today, okay, so like I'm gonna say this right now to everyone right now. I am a fan of cartoons. I'll always be a fan of cartoons, and any awesome cartoon idea comes out, I'm gonna watch it, even if it looks like crap. We're talking about one of the one shows that everyone's like really liking really badly, which I I don't get people now. Like these days, I fucking do not get anyone doing any review or any gaming thing that ever existed in this world. As if I don't they don't give a shit or they're just not they just don't like the idea of these random ideas that come out from people. Sonic the movie one, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, and then I did watch the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. Both great. I loved every single moment from the Sonic movie to the Sonic second movie with Tails and Knuckles and Sonic. Great, perfect movie. Funny, action, drama, you name it, perfect. So I was very stoked to see this Knuckles series, and I got to watch it. I binge watched the entire episode, and you know what? I didn't have no problem with it. Yeah, okay. I had there is a little bit of things that would have made it a little more fun and not as repetitive, but I still had a good time watching it. It wasn't like seriously bad. I really don't know why people hate this. It's it gives me the idea that some people really don't like the idea of Paramount trying something so different that it actually makes sense for these two characters to work together. It's kind of strange because if we got a Sonic series based off the movies and it was gonna be Sonic and Tom on like an adventure, I think that would been I think people might say that okay that's actually pretty good because that's from the movie. We know from the movie that he and Tom Sonic and Tom are very good friends and they are pretty good for a series. I would say that. Wade and Knuckles. Okay, the Knuckles show. I don't know why people are so far against the idea that it's a Wade show, not Knuckles. And okay, it is very it's okay. It's very but depending on what you're looking at, yeah, there is lots of Wade in it, which to me, Wade is not a bad character. He's not like a character that is like he doesn't really need a story for himself, but he is not like a bad character in any of the movies. He's actually kind of funny. And I'll say right now, this is better than Plant Sheen. I'm saying it fucking right now. This is way better than Plant Sheen because at least in Plant Sheen, like at least in this show, there wasn't no weird burp joke. There wasn't no weird time where there was they had to go to the bathroom, like Knuckles had to go to the bathroom or Wade had to go to the bathroom. Like there was no joke where it actually felt like off the humor that it did not feel right in the show. Like for Plant Sheen, there's so many weird jokes that just don't fall anywhere so badly because the very first second you watch Plant Sheen, it's strictly a show that is meant only for Sheen to be an idiot. Like for instance, when he's in Jimmy Neutron's fucking lab, he says, there's literally there are fucking sticky notes that he's not even thinking at all. That they are basically. I'm not gonna Anyways, so like for instance, like Sheen, he looks at the sticky notes and he says, "JN, do not touch this." JN, what does JN stand for? That means to be neutron. It's like the writers for Planet Sheen were like, "Oh, like Sheen's dumb, so he wouldn't understand that JN means to be neutron." If Oh my god, if I was a friend for someone and they had their initials on their thing, I'd be like, okay, that's my friend. He's telling me not to touch this stuff. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna be that idiot. I felt like in Knuckles, the show, that Paramount did try something that was at least unique. There are a lot of weird episodes, like okay, all 6 episodes are very not are not the best, but I wouldn't say they're the worst. I would not say that they are very bad. I'd say that they're actually kind of unique in their own way. The first episode is what we want. We want to have Knuckles. We want to see him do his training and show off what he's been doing for the last couple of months since we haven't seen him from the second movie. And it seems like he's been basically making himself more of a warrior ever since the second movie. He's made it obstacle course. He trains every day to go and get up and train all the time. We get a montage of Sonic kind of like telling us what happened after the second movie, and he's been basically living with Sonic and Tails, and he's been just kind of like keeping his worrying up to date and making himself really nothing. He's basically working his butt off, making sure he still is a warrior so that he's able to protect the Wachowski house. And I like the idea of him not knowing that the workmen are trying to fix his hole. Like they're trying to fix the damage that the house has, like the giant hole that Knuckles did in the second movie. I think that's a clever gag saying like, oh, like Sonic says like that's the fourth like workman that been here and we still haven't got the house fixed. And I like how Tails there isn't that much Tails voicing in it because of course because it's the Knuckles series. You don't need Sonic and Tails to be in there all the time. But I did like them being there for the first episode. It was pretty good because at least it shows that Knuckles and Sonic and Tails are still in the Paramount world. Like they're in the movie world. So we know that this is from the second movie because we have Sonic and Tails still in there. But beside the point, Knuckles still is not adjusted to Earth, which makes sense. He doesn't really understand Earth's like comma. When he's talking with like Sonic and Sonic on the roof, like he doesn't like Green Hills at all. He says no, 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 no a bunch of times to Sonic, but Sonic is trying to understand that it's not because he dislikes the area he is. He just doesn't feel like he's home in this world. He doesn't feel like there's this world that he lives in, the earth that now he lives now on. He doesn't think this is home because he feels more like he's lost in this world more than he was on his own original home world. Which I I understand the idea of them going with like, okay, so like Knuckles is trying to be like more a warrior, so he's doing stuff to the house and making it more like a warrior like a warrior place that he can actually stand his ground and basically be what he wants to be. Um, I love the part where he like fucking takes a bunch of like junk and makes a giant like Game Throne chair. That was that's actually funny. And then he makes the living room into some sort of gladiator fighting pit. And like I remember the trailers, it was so funny. It was like I like how like uh I forgot her name, but she's like, we're not making the living room into some sort of gladiator fighting pit. But she's like, oh, that's a warrior pit, and he's like, whatever. And then like she grounds Knuckles. Knuckles has no idea what that means, until like Sonic and Tails have to tell him what it means, and Knuckles is like, I really wish Knuckles did punch her, because it would give like this sense of like Knuckles it doesn't like the idea of being punished, but since it's a kids show, they can't show Knuckles punch an actual human, so they can't do that. But he almost it was a very close call. So I do like the idea of that Knuckles is having that sort of tough thing of like he hates being punished, but if something really ticks him off, he does want to punch something. So Sonic, like I feel like this movie, not this movie, this series has a lot of weird instances with Knuckles, but I do see why people say it's more like a Wade show and not a Knuckles show. And it's not because like there's less Knuckles in it. It's just that Wade is way more important in most of the episodes because of his bowling champion like tournament, which I didn't know he was a bowler. I did not know he was a bowling person. When I first saw that, I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. I didn't know. I when I saw that, I was like, okay, bowling. I didn't know. I really did not know that Wade was bowling. That he likes bowling a lot, and I didn't even know that bowling was a sport. I knew bowling was a game you could play all the time, but I didn't know that was actually a real sport that was actually like kind of like the Olympics. Like literally, guys, I did not know that bowling was like some sort of like tournament thing that you could win like a trophy. I didn't know that. I thought it was just some sort of game you could just like chillax and play bowling. I didn't think that was actually a real sport. Um, I should have known that, but I didn't. So there we go. So um, but I see why people don't like this show, because it is not like it's not like okay, for example, the movies have some human interaction, but it's not there. They're not there all the time. They're just there as a side little tit to make the movie not as dramatic at points, so that we have some very slow moments. And I get that the reason why they did that, because in that way you have more interaction with Tom and his family of going through his life and stuff, and then we have more of Sonic later on. But for the Knuckles show, there is less Knuckles that I could tell that there was more weight. And now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, Wade was more in it than I really wanted. But I didn't really think Wade was like a bad character. I felt like he had some moments that actually kind of qualified with the second movie, or they actually more make sense for the first one, because if you think about it, the first movie was all about Sonic learning how to be on Earth and basically learn to use his powers for good, but also learning to accept that maybe Earth isn't a bad place, and finding his way with Tom to show that he actually is pretty good using his powers and he can live on Earth with him. Uh so I feel like in the Knuckles series, it's more like Wade is like slowly becoming more aware that maybe his family is was crap at first, but then since he's gotten older, he's learned to accept that maybe they could actually help him. And the same with Knuckles. Like Knuckles has these moments where he feels like he is like way too overpowered, but sometimes there are times where he gets captured and he doesn't know how to get himself out, and he needs some friend to help him. And Wade, yeah, he's clumsy and stupid and not very like and not very resourceful, but even though his clumsiness is not the best, he's still able to rescue Knuckles, and it was actually a pretty good rescue. I was not expecting him to come through and just rocket punch the trap that he's in and blow it up so that way they can escape. That was actually very clever. I thought that was really. I did not know that there were if Wade was going to do that. I was thinking he was just going to punch her, but no, he just rocket fist the trap and blew it up so that they can get out of there. Um, the Wade humor, it could have been less humor and less more with Knuckles. I get it. What they really wanted. It's called Knuckles, not Wade. It's not Wade and Knuckles. Like if they said Wade and Knuckles the series, then that would make more sense. But it's just called Knuckles. Uh, but like you have to understand that in every the two movies that we have gotten, The first one was with Tom and Sonic. They're on a road trip. They're trying to get away from Eggman and not get themselves killed, but also learning that Sonic has abilities that they could that Sonic shows Tom what he can do. The second movie, Eggman returns, but with Knuckles, and he is with and he's with him, and they're gonna stop Sonic. So Sonic gets his ass kicked by Knuckles, but then he's rescued by Tails, and then tells him that there's like a Master Emerald they have to find, and Sonic doesn't believe him at first, but they have to do that so Eggman doesn't get it. Um, there's a side point where Tom is out in like he's in Hawaii for a marriage that is with the original woman that was in the first movie that hated Tom, but now she's getting married to basically Tyro Max, the dude from like uh Grown Ups, and he's gonna marry him, but it's actually a setup. It's the wedding's not actually a wedding. It's actually a setup so they can get Sonic and Tails. And I I plan. I was like really. I was way more focused on Sonic, but I was not focused about the Tom character stuff, and that's fine because it's just human interaction. So you have to say to yourself, this is literally Paramount doing the exact same thing, but in episodic form. This is literally them just doing a movie, but in an episodic way. Like every single episode is it's like a very short, like scene for a movie that is clipped together. It's almost like they were like, well, we can't make a Knuckles movie, so we'll just make a Knuckles show, but it's spanned out for 6 episodes because that's the actual entire movie. It's like you watch the entire movie, but it's in six sections of the movie. So instead of making one giant movie that would literally cost for it would cost a lot of money, they did it in six sections of an episode, so that way you could get like very little story, but enough to show the chemistry between Wade and Knuckles. And if you think about it right now, Knuckles is like a movie. It's a giant movie to just split up into into 6 sections of like a scenes, but they're all like split up into different like episodic moments. Each of them, each of the episodes are named by an actual thing that's happened in Sonic's game life. For instance, the Flames Disaster, which I was really what an Iblis moment from Sonic '06. That's actually kind of funny. Like Iblis, that's a that's an Easter egg. The Flames of Disaster, Iblis, the the creature that's in Silver's world, Silver's future. So like it's I really appreciate their dignity to make a good show, and I really wish people would just say this is just like watching a movie, but you're just watching episodic events that are in tangent to a movie. So it's like every single moment in Knuckles is just a huge like part of like a grand movie. So if you were watching the entire episodic series, it's just like okay, so it's not a series. It's more like a movie, but split up into 6 sections. Because in all the Sonic movies, we have a lot of interaction with the Sonic characters, and then we have a lot of interaction with human characters. So in the Knuckles series, we have lots of Knuckle moments, but then we have lots of Wade moments that are also with his family, but then chemistry with the same thing with Knuckles to come in at the very end. So it's like people will say that the series could have been better if they had not much weight in it and just had Knuckles because it's called Knuckles. And I get the idea that that people really want a better series for Paramount. But if you have to understand that Paramount they're a big company that want to make good things to the Sonic franchise, but they have to have another story for the other characters, so that way they're not just main sideline all the time. In most of the games, there are a lot of moments where Sonic is doing something, and sometimes the main character in the Sonic games will change it up so that way it's not always repetitive, so it's like different. In Sonic Colors, it's always about the little aliens, or the wisps they're called. And then like Eggman wants to use them to power up his machine. Like in Frontiers, like they find out it's this the Star Islands is where the actual Chaos Emeralds are were were found. They were made. They were they were made. They were actually being guarded by a bunch of Chaos aliens, and when they landed on Earth, they were summoned by the Master Emerald because that's where they crashed. It was when they crashed. It was because of the power of the Master Emerald like made them crash because they couldn't control the chaos energy in their actual emeralds. So the origin of Sonic Frontiers is very like inspiring to do the stuff with any other stuff that's going on with any Sonic game. Like every in every Sonic generation, there's always something that is predictable, but it's not predictable to the point where you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, or oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Like in Sonic Prime, the newest series that was on Netflix, there are so many episodes you can literally tell that maybe you can maybe predict what's gonna happen, but most of the time you can't because they just go out of nowhere and they're like, whoa, what? I didn't see that coming. Like the last season of Sonic Prime, I felt like it like a big burst of like wind and of energy went through me, and it was like intensely like powerful. And I feel like that's the idea with Knuckles. Like if people would have just given this a chance and said, "Hey, this isn't just gonna be this is not gonna be just about Knuckles. This is gonna be with other characters as well," because that's literally in all the movies of Sonic. Every movie is going to have a human character, and it's because they're on Earth. They have to be humans. It's like watching the Transformer movies, but in Transformers the movies, there are moments where there are the Transformers, but then there are moments where they have human interaction, and the human interaction isn't as long, but it is pretty repetitive because it's in those movies. But you need human interaction for Transformers because they're robots in disguise. They have to have some human interaction so that way there is some sort of interaction with the robots and then the Decepticons. So Knuckles with its show, it it begs the question that then Knuckles is just a movie that has been split up into 6 parts to make one series, and that's why I think people really need to give it another chance because you're just watching the Sonic movie, but in parts. That's literally what this is. It's a Sonic movie, but in parts. So it's not really a sequel. It's more like a prequel to the second movie. So it's like it's a prequel showing what happened after the second movie, so that you'll be ready for the third movie. It's not really supposed to give you an explanation of a story of what's going to happen to Knuckles and Wade for the third movie. It's just showing you what is the chemistry between Knuckles and Wade to on Earth, so that way Wade and Knuckles are more bonded, so that way in the third movie that might be a chemistry with Knuckles and Wade learning about the Chaotix, or Amy, or Shadow. I don't know. Either way, I am very excited to know that there are some people that do like the show, and I'm very proud that some people like the show, but I'm not big fans of people that don't like the idea the show is not good. Give this show another chance. It's literally just a movie, but it's split up into 6 parts, and that's literally what it is. It's a Sonic movie, but with split up into 6 parts to be like an episodic series. But it's more than just an episodic series. It's an actual movie of Knuckles learning to be on Earth and showing him the way the way of a friend to a warrior to a person that is training to be better. And yeah, Knuckles, Wade. There would have been more fun if Wade wasn't in it as much, but Wade for me wasn't that bad. there were moments where I felt okay, there are a little bit cringy moments, but there weren't like really bad moments. Like I tell you right now, watch this series more than once, and you'll tell me right now that this series is not as bad as you think it is. Because everyone hates Plant Sheen. It's the worst thing that Nickelodeon's ever made. Like Nickelodeon made the worst spin-off for Jimmy Neutron ever made. Planet Sheen. Everyone hated that. So tell me right now, Planet Sheen is way worse than Knuckles. So tell me right now in the comments. You tell me right now. Will you ever do it? Give another rewatch of this show and give me like an actual proper thing of saying, okay, this isn't that bad. Because I'll tell you right now, Plant Sheen and Knuckles are Knuckles is a lot better than Planet Sheen was because Planet Sheen is so dumb to the very end. He never gets off the planet, and he's still on there for this day. So they never will ever do a new series of like Neutron and them getting Sheen back to Earth. So he's literally stuck on that planet forever because he's an idiot. But for Knuckles, he's not an idiot. He just doesn't understand Earth's customs. So that's my review for Knuckles. I know it's been a little bit a long time since I haven't done any good reviews on any show, but I hope I give you an idea of why I'm frustrated with some people saying that they don't like this show. I watched the show, thought it was great, everything was good. I even liked the episode where Wade was Knuckles. I thought that was fucking funny and weird, but I loved it because it was just it was interesting, but it wasn't like too like it wasn't bad. I felt it was kind of interesting because that's kind of like that's literally what would happen in a movie in the Sonic movie. You would have like a really weird moment with one of the characters doing something, and it doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense for the movie to have that. Like, for example, in the second movie, you have Eggman talking to himself as he's trying to play checkers on that mushroom planet. That is something that what he would do because he's stupid and he's crazy because of he's doing it. For Wade becoming Knuckles, it's just telling us that he's dreaming and he's trying to be better at making himself a better warrior by learning Knuckles' history in a dream, but it looks more like a big stage play of like a bunch of people that are in different costumes, and he's just on his movie stage. I didn't even like the moment where he thinks he has it, goes out, and then tries to use his fist, knocks out, then goes back in, and then they're like, "Should we finish the song, or you're gonna be an idiot?" I mean, that's actually funny because he doesn't understand. Wade does not understand about patience and learning to accept how to do stuff correct. And that's all. And this is all what the show is. It's about patience. You just have to have patience with it because it's gonna get good. Yeah, there's gonna be some really weird stuff in this show that has no idea that it has no Knuckles in it. But that's what makes a movie with the Sonic movies. It's what makes the Sonic movies Sonic movies because you're gonna have weird moments with the characters, with human characters, and have awesome ones with the Sonic characters because it's a Sonic movie. Because in every of the movies that we had so far, with Sonic movie one to Sonic movie two, there's gonna be human interaction, but they don't need to have human interaction at all because it's a Sonic movie. But you need it so that way you have it so that you have the humans in there. So the Knuckles series is just taking the movies but making it in a series. That's literally what it is. So I hope you understand my frustrations. You understand what's why I'm not a big fan of people not liking this series. Give this show another shot and tell me in the comments you will actually watch this and give it another shot because I tell you right now, it is not as bad as any show that you've watched so far. Tell me right now, if you watch Planet Sheen on Nickelodeon and tell me right now, is Planet Sheen better than Knuckles? I would say no. Knuckles is superior than Planet Sheen because Planet Sheen is gross, disgusting, and very dumb. And I would say that to my own words because people do not like that show either. So that's my review on Knuckles, the series. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I am pretty much done for right now. I'm gonna upload 2 videos for today, which are the Let's Play Part 3 of Knack Plays. Knuckles Plays Knack Part 3. I mean, Knuckles Plays Knack 2 Part 3, and the Knuckles series a review on my channel. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review on my little frustrations of Knuckles, the series, and the people that are watching it. Please give this shot, give this another shot, because tell me right now, this isn't as bad as that people think it is. Because it's actually funny, it's weird, it's quirky, but that's what you're gonna get in a movie for the Sonic movies, anyways. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be not like a movie that you've ever seen, but that's what Sonic is. It's weird. It's just there are moments in the Sonic movies that don't make any sense at all, but they make sense because that's what Sonic is. It's weird to have weird moments where it doesn't make sense at all, but that's what Sonic is. He's weird, but has there are moments where it just happens. Think of, for example, Ben 10. Like there are moments in Ben 10 that don't make any sense at all, but you still watch it because it's Ben 10 because there's just tons of weird moments that just are not Ben 10 related, but they make relations later on throughout the series. So the Sonic movies are the same as that. And for the Knuckles series, it's actually a really nice treat to show us that Paramount knows what they're doing, and they're doing it because they know what Sonic is. It's a weird show it's a weird idea because what could you do with a talking hedgehog, a talking fox, and a weird echidna with boxing gloves that fights and stuff? What are you gonna do? Make random crap and do what you can to make it fun. So that's what Sonic is. It's a weird thing, and you just gotta accept it because that's what Sonic is. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. I'll do an awesome review on Crazy Zombie is out. Bye bye.